Hello everybody and welcome to your July readings. And by the way, happy July 4th, because today is officially July 4th. July being 4th meaning and being the day that represents the birth of America. And happy birthday, America. Now, a lot of people celebrate this day and it's about family and, barbecues and being with your loved ones, enjoying each other's company. And it's perfect because along with the birth of America in the astrology realm, it represents the sign of Cancer. And we're in the sun sign of Cancer right now through the 21st, 22nd of July. And Cancer is a water sign. Cancer is very, very sensitive and perceptive and, nurturing, the sign known as the mother. Whether you're a father or mother, it doesn't matter. You're very, very in tune to your family, and it means a great deal to you. You're also a cardinal sign. You represent the season of summer. We had summer solstice on the 21st when it went into the sign of Cancer. And there's a lot of heart-centered, loving feelings that always happen every June. And it does, once again, have to do with the fact that we're able to be with our family more. School gets out. We go on vacations together. And there's more this year than there has been in the last couple of years, I can tell you that. And I just feel the sense of real love, kind of compassionate, caring, and yet active energy. Because the cardinal sign aspect of any Cancer is a very motivated, kind of moving, let's get things done, always wanting to be active, always wanting to, initiate, I should say, be a pioneer to start things. And it's contagious and it's awesome. And I'm excited. I'm all for it. Now, having said that, I am reading all the signs as I always do. I usually take a sign a day. I'm finished by mid-month. No matter when you watch this, is perfectly fine. I did, however, start the readings this month of July with Aquarius because I was not able to do Aquarius in the end of June or by June. So I did that, but I'm on track. And now I'm on the first sign of the zodiac and one of the most powerful, fiery leadership cardinal signs, as is Cancer in this season, of Aries. Okay, Aries, there's a lot to say about you. I mean, you're in a special position. I mean, a lot of times I know you're special in your mind, and you are. You do represent the first sign of the zodiac. You are the initiator. You initiate spring. You initiate the year of astrology, which actually starts in March, not January. And I mean, you don't know anything else but leadership. This is what you were born into. So you play the part well, and you usually do a great job. Not to mention the fact that you are ruled by Mars, and Mars is a very go-getter, aggressive kind of, warrior, actually the god of war, if used in improper ways, or the shadowy energies succeed the more ambitious and, spirited nature that you have. Beautiful Aries. I love you. My dad was an Aries. I have an Aries moon, later degrees, which is interesting because I'm going to lay down a few of the major astrology aspects that are affecting you and all of us. And then what I'm going to do, of course, is pick your monthly love connection that will be of importance to you specifically, Aries. This is a general reading, granted, but it is only for Aries. And then this love connection can be, of course, any form of love. And don't forget self-love, because if you're not with somebody and you're single and you're super happy, of course, that makes sense. And it happens to many of us. And I'm happy to say that that does occur. So you don't have to feel like you have to be in this world with somebody only. But having said that, there is a very large amount of influence and energies that could pertain to partnerships this year and onward, more than before, but especially since Jupiter has entered your sign on May 10th, Aries. That's right, you have Jupiter in your sign. It only happens every 12 years. And Jupiter is another masculine, lucky, fortuitous, serendipitous opportunity kind of sign that only comes into our sign every 12 years. And it expands everything. And this can be good or not. You know, we just have to be very mindful of what we're asking and wishing for and manifesting so that it keeps somewhat of a balance. But having said that, that's a great segue, because Jupiter is in your sign, Aries, and it started on May 10th. It'll be there through October 28th when it dips back into Pisces, which it was in prior to May 10th. For about 2 months, and then starting, I think, December 20th, it goes back into your sign until March 16th of 2023. It's on, okay? And it's very exciting, and there's transformations that can happen in the year that Jupiter's in your sign that will last another 12 years and onward. And we all look forward to it because it doesn't happen that many times in our lifetime. And so it's for you, which is fantastic. While that's happening, your polar opposition that I can show you on my beautiful astrology wheel is in the sign of Libra. So the 7th house is activated automatically because of your connection as polar oppositions. I keep it as simple as possible because I'm an enthusiast when it comes to astrology. I'm not a professional per se. I've been studying for years. I don't think I'll ever learn as much as I want, but I'm going to continue to try and convey it to you in as simple terms as possible. So when it's about Libra, and there you are, it's about balance, it's about relationships, it's about Venus-ruled energy things like money and magic and beauty and living in luxury and having, you know, the wealth and the health and the love that you so are completely deserving of. You know, we all are on this planet, whatever type that is. And I might add animals too, because most people love animals and a lot of them have them. And there's a very strong emphasis for planetary reasons that an animal might be entering into your life. You might want to adopt, or you might want to, you know, rescue. It's kind of big right now. And it's interesting. My one younger son has Aries moon. And he and his girlfriend have been talking about adopting a dog for a few years, but they like to travel and do all these things. So they've had to really think it out and plan it out. And now they're going to do it. So there you go. There's pretty much in line with what the astrology is saying. And the fact that he has the Aries is very appropriate as well. So anybody with any Aries placements is going to feel things that I'm mentioning pertaining to Aries, especially, or other fire signs, more than someone that doesn't. And yet we all feel it, okay, to some degree. I always ask that you watch your sun, moon, and rising or ascendant placements, as well as Venus, because especially with the predominance of Venus in the fact that Jupiter is in Aries, there's other things too about your Aries that's happening, and it's a very, very potent time, certainly in June. I don't know about you, I think June was very, very magnetic and very filled with energy, and things were just opening up and moving and quicker than I had imagined after a lot of delays, certainly in my personal life. And a lot of people have been told since the Mercury retrograde and so forth, and then the shadow period, and then going forward. This month of July is one of those open periods, Aries, so all the things that you've been putting into place, and even last month, are just going to continue to have momentum, and it's going to be phenomenal. You just want to keep that balance and don't overdo it so that you have to set yourself back if at all possible. Having said that, we had this incredible new moon in Cancer on the 20th of June, and we're going to be feeling the effects of that. Certainly through the end of July, I would say, but absolutely till the full moon, which occurs on the 13th of July in the sign of Capricorn. This is an earth energy. This is a very grounded energy, a very success-oriented, and, you know, what's the term? They are very they're very success-oriented. They want to achieve, Capricorns, and they are ruled by Saturn, which is all about the taskmaster, the time, the understanding of time, how precious it is, the value of it, what our value is, what we give to people, what we receive back, and those sorts of things. We still have influences of the very powerful eclipses that were happening. The strength of those has definitely waned, though, which is good, because we'll be picking back up on the next series of the same two, you know, eclipses that will be in Taurus and Scorpio. I mean, that we'll talk about later, because this is the clear path to moving ahead, and it'll be one of the last ones of the year. I think around August 20th is when you can start to feel the shadowy periods of other things. So it's on for you. Now, having said that, the new moon, like I said, in Cancer is very powerful for new ideas and everything, but it's also very much about love, relationships, heart, you know, feelings, expression of feelings, you know, sensitivity beyond our normal realm of sensitivity, really, because that's what Cancer is. They have this harder exterior shell known, their, you know, archetype is the crab. Or actually the archetype is the mother, but their, you know, symbolism and the glyphs and whatnot is this crab, and there's that harder outer shell, but inside is mushy and soft, and they're protecting themselves at all time. They love safety and security, and they want to be around people that brings them that. Then they'll feel if that's not happening. They're very intuitive and very sensitive. So you might be noticing your sensitivity coming out, Aries. Not that you're not sensitive, but it's just, you're really more prone to just like, boom, let's get things going, you know, let's get this physical aspect and this energy moving in me, because that's what it's about, you know, and I'm here to help, and I'm here to make things happen. I'm not going to stop anytime soon being the ram, right? Just pushing forward with those big, big horns. But what's happening also is, starting tomorrow, actually, we also, if that wasn't enough, we have Mars, the planet of war, your very comfortable ruling planet, very comfortable in your sign, has been in your sign, and it's turning and moving into Taurus starting July 5th, tomorrow. So that's going to ease up some of this energy, and it might be something that you actually welcome, because I'm not saying you're going to just completely just stop and not have any energy. By no means am I saying that, but you'll notice a difference, and you'll feel like, oh, the influence of Taurus, of course, and Mars in Taurus is about really focusing and the motivation towards the practical things in your life, you know, not so impulsive, but more thought-provoking, and, you know, just maybe taking your time and looking into the animal you want to adopt, and making sure that the papers are right if you want the purebred, or if you're going to, you got to fill out applications if you're going to adopt straight up. You got to find out what kind of shots they need, what do you need at home, and this sort of thing. Your schedule will change. So that's the beautiful influence of this Taurian, you know, grounded, a little bit slower paced energy when Mars goes into Taurus. So that's happening tomorrow. And then we have Chiron, the wounded healer, which happens to have been in your sign for a while and still remains in your sign, but will retrograde on the 19th. So this was about working through difficulties in our relationships and mending them, or healing them, or letting them go, which is also a way of healing them, right? Sometimes it's absolutely what needs to happen so we can progress and evolve in our lives. And that's a big influence for you, you know? And it's not like you feel it just, you know, I mean, maybe the first week or so you might, and then it just kind of, excuse me, the energy kind of, you adapt to it. Excuse me, you know, I actually didn't do a recording on Saturday because I was having this hoarse thing with my throat, and though it's not painful, it's not so easy to speak, so forgive me. I have my water here for emergency. But those are three very prominent, important energies I had to share with you. And as I go on, and I make it relatively quick for you, because we have a lot more to do. For example, I will be reading the 4 cards for each week of the month and what energies they may, you know, invoke in you. It's a very good possibility. I mean, I can never predict it's exactly what it'll be, but a lot of people resonate right away, and sometimes it takes some time or not at all. So I don't know where you'll fit into that mix, but after the, you know, what I explained to you, the other important thing that's just happened on July 1st, which was just 3 days ago now, is we had a Aries Capricorn, or Mars, because Mars rules Aries and Pluto rules Capricorn square. A square in astrology is when things are not as easy, and it's usually kind of good as far as any kind of motivation to make a change. Like some people enjoy that. It's kind of a challenge, and it motivates them to get past, you know, roadblocks or, you know, things that have stifled them. And it takes that to do it sometimes, you know, like that fire under the rear end kind of thing. But that's happened, and it's not the first time, and it won't be the last. And there is this kind of a, you know, it's a change, it's a, what it is an assertiveness of one's dominion over another, or the achievement of to achieve positions of power with the Pluto. So the combination of the two, it's strong and pretty powerful stuff. When utilized in the proper way, though, it can really help you to transition and move in ways that you may not have in the past, you know, but to feel that empowerment and to grab hold of it and say yes in positive and, you know, optimistic and, you know, balanced ways, so that you don't overexert yourself or, you know, maybe interfere aggressively in other people's lives or circumstances that just isn't in the best, you know, form to use of these energies. So I'm just putting it out there, okay? And sometimes you may not feel it at all, but if you know this and you're starting to feel that, you can remove yourself, if nothing else, from the situation. Take those breaths. I always say, do the counting. It honestly does work, especially breathing. It just kind of stops that energy and kind of calms it down, right? And you've got the love of the Cancer and energy flowing through the month as well to kind of temper it, as well as the fact that actually Venus goes into Cancer on the 17th. So Venus is a very strong energy, right? And we've got the Venus that's been a part of your life more personally with the Jupiterian energy I already explained to you, and it affecting the 7th house of relationships. And then let's see, what else? Just a couple more on the back. What did I write down? I just want to take some notes. I don't usually, but I thought this is better to just zero in on the main things. There's a full moon in Capricorn, another Capricorn influence. There was so much Capricorn happening in the last, I don't know, 10, 12 years, and it's starting to move aside. It's in the very final degrees, if you will, of Pluto, so that, you know, it will then, and this has been since 2008. I mean, it's a slow moving planet, Pluto. So the outer planets usually are, they take a longer time to get around the sun in each sign. And then it will go into, once it goes out of Capricorn, it'll go into Aquarius. And boy, that's just an entirely different, completely different energy. So we won't even go into it. But I will tell you that the full moon in Capricorn on the 13th of July is going to be, I think, a positive one for you, because it activates your power, your strength, Aries. That's innate in you. And I would hope for all the right reasons, going for that job you want, you know, initiating a new channel on YouTube or a new job in general, entrepreneurial, your own, you know, special sauce or whatever it is. A new song, a new poem, you know, you want to be seen, you're going to be seen. Jupiter is there. Having said that, Jupiter does go retrograde on the 28th in your sign, and it will happen through the 28th of October, I mentioned, when it then dips back into Jupiter and back into your sign in December. Now, don't fear, because, you know, retrograde people are like, oh, yes, it's more introspective that way. I mean, Jupiter is always big and bold, and it's expansive, right? And it has to do with the world as well at large and what's happening right now. And there's a lot happening, and that aggressiveness in Aries is really just hitting it nail on. Like, it's not pleasant a lot of times what's happening, but we've got to do that to get to a different place. The Capricorn aspect, of course, is what's sticking and doesn't want to budge, and, you know, it's tradition, and it's certainly about the institutions and, you know, the above and lowering the different can't really explain it to you that well. It's just we have to, the government. Okay, I'll say it, the government. Yes. And just dealing with and then realizing ways and figuring out ways that we can move past that and group together and make the changes that are necessary. So, yes, it will go in retrograde, and you'll notice it probably once again the first week. And it doesn't stop Jupiter from bringing you gifts. It just, it'll slow it down a little bit. So it'll be a time to be a little bit more, I don't know, conservative, because, you know, there is that Taurus aspect. I didn't really mention, but, you know, Uranus has been in Taurus, and there's unpredictability with Taurus on a regular basis with Uranus in it, and it's so different. Uranus is freedom-seeking, and Taurus is, you know, conforming and determined and kind of just fixed in its own way. So there's that battle going on, and I don't know. There's a lot, but it's all, there's some incredibly beautiful, insightful, and fun times. So yes, after we enter into Leo, this is extreme. This is about going out and having some fun, okay? You've had this time between now, the 4th of July, and the 22nd to get your ducks in a row and kind of be more sensible with this Mars and Taurus now, and taking care of yourself and making some very important, thought-provoking investments, if you will, long-term, planting the seeds, being patient. I know it's kind of hard at times, right? But you can do it, and this will help you to do it. And that new moon in Leo with, you know, your fellow fire sign in Leo being, you know, sun-ruled, heart, passionate, spirited fire element like yourself, things will be seen, things will be noticed. You will be in the limelight. You'll be noticed because if you've done good work, you work hard, Aries. You are definitely a hard worker. You don't slack. Sometimes you do it before you know you can do it, which I admire. It's like a youthfulness to you that it never stops. It's like a child. Yeah, I want to be a, you know, an astronaut. I want to do it, and a lot of people do. But that's kind of the rundown. So it's a mixed bag, but it's also really beautiful. And I would say majority of July is going to be good times, fun, parties, family, heart-centered, home projects maybe, you know, sticking home, just close to home a little more. And like I said, training that pet, that takes time. You can't be out as much at first, and loving it and feeling the passion of love with somebody that's you're familiar with and that you want to spend time with. And so I'm going to pick your love connection that Spirit would like you to know about, remembering this could be a person or sign that you're very familiar with and very much connected to, or it could just be their energy and that you have maybe a lot of in your personal chart, which you can always look up for free at cafe.com, Cafe Astrology, excuse me, or Astrodienst, which I really like too. Anyway, so dear Spirit, please, for the highest good of all involved, please share with us the most important element, person, relationship that will affect Aries, for better, for worse. And it went right in the center, so let's try that again for you. Capricorn. Oh my gosh. Okay, Spirit. Well, I don't really need to say too much. I mean, I think I pretty much spent the entire first 15 minutes talking about the conjunction and the connection between you and Capricorn, Aries. It's a given, and it's pretty in line and synchronistic, and I always thank Spirit for making it real and just reiterating what I've been trying to express to you, because everything comes through me, through Spirit, of course, and the constant co-creation for all of us. But yeah, Capricorn is definitely a big thing. And then that new full moon, which is a culmination of what may have started from this beautiful new moon Cancer energy, and that heart opening, which is very, very impactful when it comes to creating and manifesting things. It's the emotion that brings it fully into reality. And so yeah, Capricorn is where it's at. You may be with a Capricorn, you may have good friends that are Capricorns. I would always suggest that you have at least 1 or 2 Capricorns in your circle of friends, because they are like you, cardinal, and they are go-getters, and they are doers, and they are hard workers, and they're loyal, and they want to succeed. And this is kind of, you know, birds of a feather type of thing, which is good for both of you, you know, because you both have that same like-minded, you know, approach to life. So yeah, that's interesting, and yet not really, because it makes perfect sense. But it could also be somebody you don't know about, Capricorn, that's coming through. And it could be somebody that wants to help you in the physical realm, as I mentioned, the grounded earthly realm of a new opportunity you don't even know about yet, okay? And that's still coming from the new moon. And that's important, because not only are Cancer sensitive and intuitive, and, you know, they're ruled by the moon, they know about tides and currents, and they have these gut feelings, and they have that gift, you know, and you want to listen whenever you're around a Cancer that has a hunch. But also, you know, they're creative. It's extremely creative energy, and you can be extremely creative too, Aries, when you put your mind to anything. So I like that a lot, and it makes sense, and just something to be aware of. And now I'm going to read the 4 weeks of the month that will, and how they may or may not impact you. The energy is coming through. I'm using this beautiful Gilded Tarot by Sarah Marchetti, and it's one of my favorites. So let's start with the first week, which we're in, and hope that you have a beautiful 4th of July. And I was hearing some pops and crackles and explosions already, so I thought I'd get in here and finish this before it got much more, you know, prominent. So for you, beautiful, oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the energy coming in. This is the 5 of Swords. This is the mind. This is the air elements, okay? This is Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. And I mentioned you already have this connection with Libra happening anyway. So 5 can be challenge. It can be discord with conversations, or, you know, people saying things. It's gossipy kind of BS. It's so irrelevant, to be honest, and it doesn't last long, but it's something you're obviously aware of. It could be something happening in your office that isn't even you, but you may be in charge and you have to deal with it. And you're feeling fine about it. You're releasing people and circumstances that aren't helping in any way, shape, or form. And if it's not physically, like letting them go, if you're in charge and that's your position to do so, because it will help strengthen. It's better to have less and more quality than quantity that isn't so great, and, you know, could contaminate the situation. But I think it's also just decluttering, you know, even if it's in your mind, and the thoughts and the disputes or arguments that have come in the last few weeks with this aggressive energy that I've talked about quite consistently. You're feeling strong though, you know, you've got what it takes to keep moving forward. You are not one to stop. That is for darn sure, Aries. And this person in this depiction is just like, yeah, I've got it. I'm ready. You know, the thing about air element is they are about truth and justice, and they seek that. And, you know, you're no different, Aries. You care greatly, and sometimes you're like a child, ridiculously honest, which I fully appreciate. You're going to say exactly what you feel. People, there's no, I mean, you might be an actor or an actress, and you can act your way through a paper bag sometimes, you know, in a role, but in real life, I find that there's very little, you know, fluff or falsity with a lot of Aries. They're just very straightforward. It's I think it's endearing, and it can be a little brash at times, and, you know, maybe not always PC, but it's truth, you know, and I want truth. I really want truth so much. So there you are. That's coming in, and you see that you've got, you know, the yellow, and there's been clouds and things like that, but that sun is definitely shining through. And that's our solar plexus. That's empowerment. That's the Pluto influence that I've been talking about. So you've got this handled, and you're going to be just fine. Now let's move on to, speaking of Pluto again, the second week, when the full moon culminates any situation and brings an ending or a light to it, so that it can therefore be healed and mended as well. So you start with the Five of Swords, and five is about change and challenge anyway. And like I said, a lot of people really love the challenge and they will get through it. It gives them inspiration, you know, depending on how deep and severe the challenge is, of course. And there you have, oh my, so now you have the Eight of Swords. So you know that with these challenges, and yes, you can just cut away the riffraff, that was the word I was looking for. And, you know, pick your battles, definitely. You may be very much, you know, affected by or close with an air sign, and they love debating, and you're fine with that. You're going to speak your piece too. But then you have the Eight of Swords. Now, the Eight of Swords is always very interesting because this is about this possible influence of the full moon. And the full moon, like I said, can bring up, at times, it brings up things that are maybe needing to be addressed, okay? And if so, don't let your mind work overtime in fear mode, because this is self-induced restriction, the feeling of confinement, like you're stuck in some way, you know, and the reality is you're not at all. You never have been, you never will be. But our minds do play that trick on it. Remember, if you have, you may have a lot of air in your chart, and that's gonna, you know, be a reason that I'm getting two swords for the two cards that represent your mind and your thinking, and this challenging energy that I said will last at least through the first week or so of July. You're sorting through it though, but don't stay up at night, okay? It's not worth it. Please allow yourself to divert your attention, hang out with people you really enjoy your family, enjoy the people that are close to you, that matter the most to you. That's the most important thing for all of us. And remember, it's just a thought away from changing this. So these two, and even though they're not the most happy, joyful, you know, cards and energies, they're very quick moving, you know, because emotions are like clouds. They're constant, right? I have so many emotions during the day, and mostly good, but there are times that I'm just wonderful, and then something happened, and I'm kind of perplexed, or I'm sad, but it's usually inside. People aren't necessarily aware of it, like with yourself, Aries, you know, I get that. But you're going to be fine. Just remember, this is something that you can practice for yourself, realizing thoughts become things, so be very aware of what you're thinking, and if they start to go down a path that doesn't make you feel comfortable, you feel, get out and take that walk and go do that run. Any fire sign always needs extra activities as far as exercise and such, and a lot of them are very, very great at a lot of different forms of exercise because they know how good it is for them, and it releases these extra thoughts and things, the program and the loop that goes around. Okay, so interesting for the 2 weeks. Now, third week is the beginning of Leo season. Let's see if the energy is changing here a bit from the mind and the thoughts and the concerns. Oh, nope, not yet. But here, have no fear. The Three of Swords. Now this depiction, no, not the three, the four, thank goodness. Okay, I prefer that. Though I said the three because as opposed to the Rider-Waite-Smith, where there are three swords stuck in a heart, point in case, stuck, been there, done it. It's already happened. It's a time of healing, and that's exactly what's happened. You have been hurt, you've been betrayed in some way. I mean, this could have happened years ago. It could have happened 2 days ago. It could have happened this past week. I'm feeling like something went down that didn't go the way you had hoped to, and you took it personally. You know, you're not made of steel. You tend to brush things off and move forward quicker than the average person or element. But what I will tell you is that the Four of Swords is putting down that fourth sword and saying, I'm resting now. I'm not letting that happen. I'm going to enjoy myself. It's a new season. It's a new energy. It's a great energy for me. So if I've been feeling unhappy emotionally, and you would be with Cancer, it's more emotional. I already said that. If you've lost somebody, for heaven's sakes, you absolutely want to stop and just take time to retrieve and regroup and to, you know, grieve and whatever you have to do. It's a very serious thing, and it works differently for every person. Everyone has their own time frame, and there's never a specific time. But this is more about the healing. This is being, you may have been under the weather. You may have just been working too much. Not surprised about you and working too much. I can't emphasize enough the importance, and there's yet another air element, which was, you know, brought up as far as you being pretty much in tune with the Libra. You might be with the Libra. You might want to really take on the energies of the balance that Libra can offer you, okay? And for the betterment of all. But I like this because it's the time of healing. You're being watched over. You're being protected. It's all going to be okay. And you're about ready to get up and make it all happen again is what I'm feeling. This is the time. So 4th week of July. New moon in Leo. We're in Leo season now. We're new moon in Leo. And there's this incredible, can't say exactly right now because I'm still an aspiring astrologist. I just study and look into it because I want to know it more and more the rest of my life. And so it's about Uranus. And it's in conjunction with, I want to say Jupiter, but I'm not 100%, so I better watch it. But anytime Uranus is in the picture, the most unexpected, unpredictable, sometimes phenomenal changes that can happen in a heartbeat come out of nowhere. In addition to the new moon in Leo, which is fun and it's fiery and it's your element. So be prepared for the unexpected, okay? And I mean in good ways, because that's what you're needing to hear. And it is actually a very, very strong possibility. So I've done something with the cards here, but I'm picking this one. That's right. So for the 4th week, you've changed your tune. You're getting out of your head. You've eliminated things that aren't working. You've taken back your power. You've rested. You're calming down a bit. You know, there's that Leo, but that's not calming down. Forgive me. You had Mars go into Taurus, which is also with Venus, which is also with relationships and sensuality and food and luxury and having a good time, but enjoying a slower pace. And then you have the Ace of Wands, and it's right back at it again. The fieriest, most seductive, sensual, sexual card. I said sexual, right? Yeah, your resting is paying off because you've got energy to spare. And, you know, I mean, I mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. Leo is extremely passionate as well. So it's time for good fun times. And, you know, it may not have been the easiest month all month, but it certainly will have you'll make up for it. And all is well that ends well is what I say. So going into August is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be extremely good. And it'll be the last period, like I said, before the shadowy. So you still have a good 2-3 weeks in August to pick it up and have some fun, okay? And don't be surprised if your work and your clients or something it just comes back tenfold, and it's so wonderful. So if there is a time that seems it's slowing down and what's going wrong, and there's nothing going wrong, it's absolutely perfectly right, and it's good for your body. This is time to take the vacations or plan the vacations, and just totally, it's new beginnings, it's new ideas, it's all sorts of things that you aspire to, Aries. It's what you're about. Whoo, that's fantastic. I was hoping to see that, but I mean, all this makes perfect sense. And there's never a negative on any of this. It's just reminding us, it's once again guiding us. Because I know I myself, I am an air sign, and I do get in my head a lot, and I've worked on that so hard, and it still happens, but it lessens because I will not let it take over. It's just not worth it, and it will affect your body, you know. So I love that. I hope you can relate, and I hope that that's exactly how it works out, that you're able to just kind of stop and say, okay, now I need to just, let go of some things that have recently happened and just motivate myself and move towards a better, way better beginning with more fun and excitement and abundance, really. The courage, certainly the strength, you've got all that. I'm going to read an oracle, which is the rune for you. One of my most favorite powerful divinations. And I started reading about runes in '97. And then I decided I'd like to actually know them by heart. So it will take a while. And I asked as a gift from my dear, beautiful sons for these beautiful flashcards. So first I'll pick yours out and read to you what it says. And then finish with the Mastery of Love card, specifically for you, okay, Aries? You love big and hard, you do. You are incredibly caring and you want to take care of people, you do. And so and this I believe is an F, and it looks like an F, but I could be wrong. I always thought it looked like the clef note in the left, side in piano, because I took piano years ago. Let's find that for you, okay? Right on top. Woo! There we go. Fehu. Remember that, Marianne. It looks like an F. Not all of the letters do. This is the Greek alphabet, I believe, not the English. And a lot of them don't look anything like you would think the letter is, but Fehu, man. Letter F, pronunciation, Fehu. Rune number 1. Sound familiar, Aries? You are number 1, and you always will be. And it's a blessing and a curse all at once, but you can handle it, and if anybody can, you do. And this is number 1. This is the ace, okay? The beginning, but the power and the initiative that creates the starts that then transform our lives, okay? It's everything and anything. It's the magic wand, if you will. And the theme is cattle or property. And that's interesting because, Taurus, which I mentioned, is, Uranus is in Taurus, but there's something else I'm forgetting, and I don't know why I keep doing that, but there is influences of Taurus throughout the month. And my point is that Taurus rules land and property and money, with the Venus ruling. And of course, earthly things, practical things, investments, they're very, very good at that. So there's this kind of a continuing theme that I've been reading for you. The keywords are wealth, currency, liquid assets. So, being able to maybe turn something from one thing into another and, invest in something else that'll then in the future with patience and time that, that's what Taurus is all about in their influence, will create more wealth and so on and so forth. And abundance, it says prosperity, assets, fertility, woo, seeds of all kinds. So something to think about for those of you in that time of your life where you've been thinking about a child. It's been on your mind a lot. Maybe it's caused some controversy. Maybe you're worried about what that entails, or even an animal, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my freedom, or, what if I don't like his temperament, or, what if this, that, and all the questions we ask that kind of keep us kind of tied and bound. Well, let them all go, okay? Put out your plan, make that agenda, and then allow other aspects to come in, and it always works out exactly the way it needs to, and probably better and more powerful. Because you're allowing and you're surrendering. You don't have to be always completely responsible and control of everything. You simply don't, Aries. The magical working is drawing money and wealth, financial insight and wisdom, projecting energy, which is huge. You usually can feel in Aries, I'm promising you that. Abundance workings. Ace of Wands, man. Key phrases: examine the purpose of nature. Examine the purpose and nature of wealth. Effort pays off. Good financial management and material wealth. I'm not surprised. This doesn't surprise me at all. And Jupiter is, regardless of being retrograde, it creates this more than any other time. Okay? So let that be what it does for you, and don't let it go crazy and do too many things, or, become too, pious and think, oh, Jupiter's in the sun, I got whatever. Not always, don't take anything for granted, of course, but not that you would. But this is really, really beautiful. Fehu, just for you. And finishing, I'm going to pick your, like I said, this is from Don Miguel Ruiz. I've had this for so many years. I came across it upstairs. I went, The Mastery of Love. Anyway, just pick one and I read to you, just something to think about, because we are in a season of opening our hearts more. I don't know about you, but I love doing that. I love being vulnerable. I love the feeling of love. I really, really do. And it can be for so many different things, people, animals, what have you. It just feels right. And when we work from our hearts, that's the true essence of, to me, love, and also manifesting in our heart is so intelligent and so intuitive. It absolutely guides us. So I do want to thank you for being here too, if I may. And if you have not subscribed, please do me a favor and push that subscribe button. You don't get charged, and it's simply a very loving, compassionate, and supportive gesture. And YouTube will then share my, videos and let me continue to do what I love doing. I've done for a long, long time and want to do for the rest of my life, to be honest. When I can't work anymore, my hands as a massage therapist have let me down, but then I can still move a card and speak from my heart to yours, okay? Likes, shares, all of those mean a great deal. Thank you, everybody that has and that comes back to watch me. I'm not an influencer yet, but I have influences that I would love to share with you. This is the one, man. This is the one. You have the power to create. Your power is so strong that whatever you believe comes true. You are the way you are because that is what you believe about yourself. Your whole reality, everything you believe, is your creation. I mean, if you said that to yourself every day, many times, or even the first thing in the morning, everything, your energy, your inner world would change dramatically, and everybody and everything would be affected. And that's when miracles come about. I'm happy that I saw this because this is absolutely you. Got a little music to go along with, because music is so incredibly healing and magical, and I can't imagine a world without it, really. But so you keep trucking, beautiful, beautiful Aries. I love and appreciate you stopping in, and I will be back in August. Have a beautiful 4th of July. Have a beautiful July, and make it happen. Till next time, bye for now.